Hello, everybody. Welcome to one more exciting session in the series AWS Bootcamp. In this particular session, we will summarize all the components that we have learned till now and we'll discuss about other general functionalities of AWS S3. We have discussed about buckets and objects. We understood about ACLs. We also understood how to configure replication between different S3 buckets. We created jobs over there and we configured lifecycle management. We also know how to migrate the data from EC2 to S3 bucket. We understood the different types of encryptions that are available and how to configure them. We also hosted a static website on AWS S3 and we also know how to make a bucket public, how to make a bucket private, how to make the objects in the bucket public. Those are the things that we have discussed, and we will discuss other common functionalities on AWS S3. For that, let me flip over to my AWS console. All right, this is my AWS console. If you look on the left, there's an option called as bucket. So we all know from this option we can create buckets, and there's access points. Now, an access point is an option that AWS has given for us to simplify managing data access at scale for shared data sets in S3. Basically, S3 is used to store data sets that has to be shared by multiple teams, right? And if you want to have different types of access for different applications and different people or different users, right? Now we can use these access points. Now, this is a functionality that AWS has provided. We can use that without using the AWS bucket name normally for the data access. Okay, so you can create general access point. We can create access point for Lambda. We can create access point for multi-region. So in any case, if there's a use case for you guys that you have to create an access point, this is where you have to come. And there's another option called as batch operations. So we have done this exercise when we are creating a replication, right? So this batch job, what it does is that it copies the data from one storage bucket to another storage bucket. So you can call that as a job. Okay, so you can do that, and the job will keep running until unless you delete that. That is basically the batch operations. It is very simple. All that you need to do is that select option create job, and you have to mention your inventory report. In S3 it is basically a JSON file, or if you want a CSV file you can mention that, or you can create your manifest file if your date if you it is there in any of the buckets. All right, and then you have to choose, and you can browse your bucket where your manifest file is there, and then click and start your job. That is about how to create a batch operations. And there is AWS dashboard. Okay, this is basically called as AWS Lens. You can create dashboards to see how your AWS S3 is performing. You can give a dashboard name. Okay, my dashboard. Okay, and whether you want to enable the status or not, what should be the scope, whether it should include regions and bucket, whether it should exclude regions and bucket, whether you want free matrix or advanced matrix which is charged, and then create a dashboard. Okay, now getting started, let's go to my dashboard. Okay, you need to act give an IAM user for that. Let us say, let's see the default bash. Okay, okay, that is how you basically create a dashboard, but you need to assign a role, IAM permission for you to for the user to access that particular dashboard. Okay, basically that is how you go ahead and create a dashboard. And then let us see some of the features of the bucket. Let me go into that buckets. So you now have buckets here. Now let's select a bucket. Now in the bucket, There are a lot of options. The first option is object. Here you can see different objects that are available. Now, if I go into properties, we all know what is a bucket versioning and tags of billing. So you can give tags, basically say that of how much, if you see the itemized billing, you'll come to know which bucket has costed you how much. We all know what is an encryption, how to enable an encryption. You see this encryption is enabled for this object. And we know what is an tiering, how to configure tiering. Intelligent tiering, one of the storage classes that we have, you can configure intelligent tiering here. And if you want to access the logs, that means what is happening with AWS S3. If you want to store that somewhere, you click select option edit here. Okay, enable server access logging in. Okay, if you enable that, you have to specify this logs has to be stored on which bucket. Now let's say browse S3. I have a bucket which says store logs of the bucket. So I'm storing the logs for this bucket and save changes. Now, whatever happens in this bucket, whether a object is deleted, object is created, everything will be stored as a log in this particular bucket that we have chosen. Okay, we can also create something. We can also create a data events of every log that is happening with the help of another service on AWS, which is called as CloudTrail. But we'll discuss more about CloudTrail once we look into the a service CloudTrail. Okay, we will see how to create CloudTrail, how to store logs, how to analyze logs, all that stuff there. Okay, so now the next option that we have is event notifications. What is an event notification? Let's say if someone puts an object on S3 bucket, I want an email. Someone deletes an object in S3 bucket, I want an email. Anything, any event that is occurring, I want an email notification to be in my inbox. How do I configure that? I can configure that with the help of event notifications here. Let's say create an event notification, give a name to the event. Okay, I want for every item, not only for images or not only for some type of files, I want any object that is created by using put, post, copy. Okay, anything I want an notification, or I want any object deleted, any object restored. Okay, any ACLs that is changing, any object that is tagged. Okay, if any storage class that is changed, any replication, if you set up any lifecycle rules, if any intelligent tiering happening, I want a event to come. Now, how your event to come? There are two types. One is by lambda doing something, or as an SNS topic, or as SNS queue. In this scenario, we will choose something called as SNS queue. Now, first of all, we need to have a topic there. First of all, we have to create a SNS topic. So we don't have an SNS topic here, but let us go to an SNS topic and then create an SNS topic there. So we have another chapter to discuss in detail about SNS, but let me just give you a glimpse of it. Let's go to SNS, simple notification service. Let's create here my topic. Next step, standard is fine. I'll select defaults. Okay, I want anybody to publish this, create a topic. My topic is created. I'm adding a subscription in the topic. What kind of protocol? I want an email, right? So you can, email should be the protocol, and then create a subscription. Okay, what is the email? That says Satish at levelupedu.net. That is the email. Create a subscription. So now when I created a subscription, if you go into my topic, and in the subscription there's a pending confirmation. So if I open my email, you see that there is a notification from AWS. If I confirm subscription, it is saying that your subscription is confirmed. Now let me go back to my AWS console. Then let me refresh this page. Now you see this email is confirmed. Okay, now that's how I created an SNS topic. Now let me come here. All right, now you see there, I can see the topic. Select option my topic and save changes. Now if I put any item in that bucket, right? Any object in the bucket, I should be able to get a notification. Let me go to that, upload, and then add files. Okay, I'm adding a file and then upload. Okay, now in my email, I should be able to see some notification coming up. Okay, now if you see Amazon S3 notifications, I got some email that is in this bucket. In this bucket, there is something that is happening. All right, that is how you can configure notifications on AWS S3. Okay, that is the option which we're discussing about notifications. Okay, and then we have another option called as transfer acceleration. If you want the data transfers to S3 to be faster, you can use enable this option called as transfer acceleration. Okay, now let's say you want to create or an bucket, and whatever object that you put in bucket, nobody should be able to delete it. Okay, you can fix some amount that for 1 year this should not be deleted. Then you can choose something called as object lock, but you cannot enable this after you create a bucket. Once when you are creating a bucket, if you enable this option, whatever objects that are there in that particular bucket, you'll not be able to delete that. Okay, and we all know that about the static website hosting to host a static website. And let's go to the tab called as permissions. So in this, basically you'll have an overview of the permissions for this particular bucket. And if you want to edit the permissions, that means you want to make the object public or private, or if you want to give custom permissions, or if you want to change the ownership of an object, you want to define ACLs, you can choose this particular option called as permissions. Okay, now once you go into the matrix, so these are bucket matrix. So what is the total bucket size? How many objects are there in that bucket? You can do the storage analysis. You can see the replication matrix, all the options in the matrix. And in the management, we can configure life cycles. We can configure replication rules. We can configure inventory configurations. All right, we have seen all these options separately. And in the access point, as we discussed, we can create access points for one region or a multi-region, or for a lambda, we can create access points. All right, these are the different options that are available for S3. I request you guys to do all the lab exercises that we have discussed, and then I think you should be good with do operations on AWS S3. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. You guys have a good time. Take care.